And this is kind of brilliant because not only is it a decent lane into the Azir, but you pick it away from Zeka. He cannot play one of his most iconic champions throughout the rest of this best of 5. Remember, guys, HLE need to win one game. No, there's no way. He's not going to get away with it. Oh, he didn't! Zeka's the one that locks it down as Canyon not even able to flash away. Emperor's Divide comes out, and First Blood will go over to Zeka on this Azir. And that one guy in chat that predicted First Blood, yeah, I think knew that if he had flashed over the back wall, he would have been okay, but wasn't able to get the bit of extra movement speed. As we're going between the worlds, Kanavi might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have the Crescent Guard as Zeus looking for the angle, goes all out as Canyon just dead again. And Keen just wondering what the heck to do. Maybe waiting for Chovy. He's going to be the option there as he flashes. Does miss the Q. Gets exhausted here. There's that tech you were talking about. Does need to rebind, but Chovy is just dead and Keen doesn't have the range. Kanavi, he's now sitting at 2-0-1. Asking, we can see that Kanavi is on his Wrapped camp right now. May not necessarily be going over there. As with these two minions trying to hold the wave, keep Gen.G's bottom lane as safe as possible. I mean, this is where the danger lies, right? Because this is the lane that is the most volatile, the most dangerous.
So he will look to get second dragon here, and will be successful. No contest, really.
Oh, another Cloud Soul as well. Feels good. So that is going to give a bunch of extra movement speed. We'll see whether Gen.G can contest for the next one, or whether it's Cloud Soul point here for HLE, but Double Dragon.
The time it took for Keen to teleport back in lost some their prio. They were going to deny some farming on the top side, but they're going to need more than that if they're going to take this away. As I say it, though, a bit of a relinquish of control with that wave going through. Zeka decides he needs to get this. Loses a lot of the minions anyways. Like, he only gets 3, and they get the Herald potentially as a result.
Oh, now Delight holding onto his buttons, really wants to use that to try and go for an engage, but Chovy snaps back towards this Rift Herald, down to about 4,000. As we're going between the worlds, Keen is still very dangerous, and Zayas is getting poked down. Kanavi steals away the Rift Herald, but it's a 4-man Pop Blossom from Duro. He finds the angle, and Keen locks down Delight. Now Zayas going down solo. Emperor's Divide finds Ruler, but he flashes on top of Gumayushi. A gap closing, a Zero ultimate. Are you insane, Ruler? And it's a double kill for Canyon. There's that team fight, and it's an ace for Duro.
The call to go in to look for the secure was a risky one. Kanavi is rewarded, but the rest of the team fight is a wash, and that'll also be the dragon to go over here to Gen.G. And I think you are not typing worth in all chat if you are Kanavi after this one, as that was a bit of an overextension. At least he knows that there are two things that he's really weak into, and he's trying to make sure he has the answer for both. He doesn't really have the answer for this Yone, though. And that's a turret down just naturally. Doesn't want to side into the Aurora, I promise you that, but doesn't want to side into the Yone either. This Cassante pick just isn't working out. And the lead for Ruler is 2,000. Wow. As Chovy.
Yeah, Kanavi looking for an angle there. Does stop the ultimate from getting Chovy out of there. And that means that he's just dead. Kanavi puts the spear in. And so no side laning here for Chovy for the next little while.
On the cross map.
Oh. Well, let's see whether Zeka can survive, as he does avoid the Vault Breaker, but that means that Canyon doesn't touch him. And so they will just kill this turret. Pop Blossom picks up Zeus as he makes his way in, and now it's 3 versus 1 for him. In the meantime, Yunara is taking a turret in the mid lane, and Zeus is desperately running away. And I would say that is a pretty good cross map.
Yes. They get 2 turrets. They get the top turret, then they get the kill onto the Yone, but at the cost of their mid lane on the bottom side, as Kanavi's going to pick up plate gold. He's the only lead left in this game, and he's like, well, I guess I'll get some money. They're going to try to get this mid turret as well. Ruler does show up here, and unfortunately a turret shot is taken. I don't think they get this as much as they want to.
They will eventually, just not now.
Ruler did have to expend his ult, so that's a small victory there as well. Kanavi, he does get the turret, and I think he should get out as well.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of damage being looked for here by Chovy before he snaps on back. That he's already just very accelerated in this game, cashing in the cull, things like that. So only about 1,400 before that Infinity Edge will be done.
And the Herald that was stolen.
Hey, there we go.
We'll finally get something done here. We'll take out the bottom turret. The mid turret is, like you mentioned, so low that they think that they should be able to get that one anyways, which I think is a reasonable call, but they haven't gotten it just yet.
Yep. Yeah, you were talking about this before, actually, the fact that Gen.G don't necessarily have a reliable front line. It has to be a fair bit of smoke and mirrors and poke to make this happen, as Flash out there from Duro has to get out of the way of Zeus, but there is the Drake just being taken. HLE just couldn't
Kane's level 16, by the way, as is noted. He's about a level and a half up, but 2 levels up technically.
Well, that's ridiculous. As Emperor's Divide going to be used here as Chovy going to have to bounce his way out. Does get a big old shield as Delight catches up to him. Kanavi is running real fast. Oh, wind barely becomes lightning is now, yes. Chovy actually unbinds the soul, looks for the knock-up onto Zeka, doesn't find it. But like you were saying, yes, they can start Baron.
Like, that's you're going to send 3 people to kill Chovy when this Yunara with IE's on the other side? I don't think so.
Well, Zayas is going to have to bring Canyon out of the pit, and he does so, and now the rest of Gen.G needs to zone Gumayusi. However, Canyon just gets back, smites the Baron, and that is going to be secured. Now Delight looking for an angle to get himself in, as Ruler bounces his way out. Pop Blossom connects onto Gumayusi, and he has to get himself out of there. Zeka gets into the fight as Ruler flashes out of the way, dashes to avoid getting knocked up by Delight, and down will go the Rakan. Canyon's getting chased down by Zayas and Gumayusi, but he just vault breaks his way out of there. How do they kill 1 in a 4 versus 5, take the Baron? In the meantime, Chovy's having a rest.
Gen.G just running circles around Hanwha right now. Hanwha will get the Constellation mid-turret here, but
a little bit more flimsy. And now with this Baron, Chovy looking to dive underneath this inner turret. Plates are just falling left and right. And yeah, Ruler now with the Last Whisper as well as his other 3 items. This is, you know, HLE have got another few opportunities. I don't think this game is going to be one of them, even though it is only a 5,000 gold lead. I think when the money is so firmly on Ruler and on to...
They've opened up the mid lane completely. They'll get their 3rd Cloud Dragon of the game, put them on Soul Point.
This is a pretty good one here for Zayas. Gets himself in a turret. He's going to pull back the gold a little. That is Soul Point, and they run really fast, Wolf.
I just don't know.
2-0-3 on this Aurora, man. The Keen test has gotten more difficult.
Chovy can basically solo Baron if given enough time. They do have to respond. Now they're going to split it. I love this setup here for Gen.G. So much zoning, and while they threaten the Baron at the same time.
Oh, Duro looking for that angle between worlds goes Keen. As Zayas looking to just walk up, and they have to because this Baron's going down lower and lower. There's the quickness, but Delight is just stopped in his tracks, just shot down here by Ruler as the Crescent Guard does nothing. Chovy finds the ulti, and the flash in once again to take down Gumayusi. No one is dead on the side of Gen.G, and it is just Zeka trying to flap away with broken wings from this destruction of a team fight out of Gen.G. Yet another one around the Baron that they win. They are looking not to take down the Purple Worm, though. They're thinking the enemy Nexus might be a better prize.
Yeah, they're going to grab this turret, and then it can regroup and take the Baron. A bunch of minions lost here in one of these solo lanes, right? Zeka's like, get the top minions first so I kill this fast enough. Maybe I get the mid minions. Really awesome to watch. And now they're going to do the same thing here on this Dragon.
Yeah, Quadra, Cloud, Solas. Kanavi goes in. Okay, looking for a little bit of an angle. There's the Pop Blossom, picks up 3 of them. The Yunara is down. Let's see whether Gen.G will have the damage. As Gumayusi will be taken out. It's a double kill for the Auroras. Chovy will be wiped out, but Keen's at full health. Can he get the rest of them? It looks like he might be. As there's the Quadra, and it's only Zayas left standing. And I don't think he's making it out. Pentakill for Keen here, and Gen.G will march victoriously to the enemy base.
Yeah, they have such incredible team fighting here. There's too many threats. Keen does insane work in that fight despite Ruler getting caught. His first death, by the way, of the game. And they will walk straight up to the Nexus and take it out. And
every year, man, the Keen test just gets harder.
It does.
2026 is ludicrous.
Now, I guess with Guma, he died really quickly in that fight, so he's going to respawn, so I guess they cannot actually end right now.
The thing that HLE has to do, you know, is they have to pick their battles, all right? And the battles that they picked were with Ruler and with Chovy. And after that, they had nothing else. There was nothing left in the tank. And so Keen was absolutely fine. There's the snapback between worlds once again for Mr. Pentakill Man here, as they will be able to take down this inhibitor turret. Inhibitor already dead towards that bottom side as Keen just goes into stealth, bounces out of the way of Zayas' Q3, and the last remaining inhibitor turret is surely about to fall. The inhibitor just going to be a formality at this stage.
And for Gen.G, they're fighting for first place in their group, and this is a very solid start to this best of 5.
They don't have to do all that much better than they've already done in order to get first place, because T1 dropped a few games, Gen.G has not. And
all they need to do is win.
Yeah. It's very, very likely that they will be first place, but this is looking like a statement already. As Ruler,
he wants to get involved with an annoying, pesky wall there.
Yeah, exactly. It's so frustrating. Well, Keen has lost more health than he did in the last team fight. As Pop lost him, he flashes for it, finds 3, and there is a gorgeous snare as well. Keen's still doing so much damage, but now everyone is involved. They tried to kill Ruler. It didn't work this time around. That's another clean ace, and Gen.G will mop up these turrets and send us to a game number 2. And my goodness, it was a decent early start there for HLE, and then it just wasn't good at all.
But that's the thing, Atlas, we keep seeing the same story, the same pattern, where it's a strong early game for HLE, but things get
fascinating and beautiful to watch how they can do it so consistently. As Keen, speaking of consistency, does a gigantic amount of damage in that game, picks up a pentakill. I think he's forerunner probably for the POM at this stage, but Ruler,
by the way, like, even if Bard wasn't available,
I could have
still
played
wreck
these
you.
things.
Yeah, I could have actually played these other things that are really strong as well in this scenario. The MF, pretty common these days. That will give them a little bit of extra damage.
Yep.
And the Gnar is going to be really critical for damage later on too.
Oh, Gumayusi down very low as we do have Canyon moving in. Magical Journey comes over as Ruler is looking a little bit worse for wear, but he still has barrier. He's fine. Gumayushi's dead for first blood, and Ruler still can press F if he's in any trouble.
I'm not entirely sure how this one really was sussed out by HLE, but they are in
Delight's like, take me back! Take me back, Gen.G! Never mind, I'm not allowed to do that as he gets taunted, and he will get taken down. Canyon with the knock-up, Chovy with the punch, and Canyon might be in a little bit of trouble now as Kanavi, that Magical Journey doesn't work the other way around, as Canyon should have just pressed the button again. That would have been very funny, but he's not able to do so. Like, this matchup is, I was talking to you about it earlier on today. I was like, this is the fun matchup, right? Like, Keen versus AS is always just some of the best top lane League of Legends that you can see. All right, Duro will find a Cosmic Binding. There's a Magnus Storm, collects Ruler there as the Tempered Fate comes through, but it's not enough. The Ignite is going to tick down, and that is going to grab that kill. I'm pretty sure it was Ignite anyway, but still the answer is here for Gen.G. Chovy no flash, so won't be able to get in there, but there's the knockup from Canyon, and the third Q nets him a double, and Gen.G's response is just better.
Zeka doesn't have ult. Not sure what he used it for, but I think he should have been following that rotation from Chovy.
This might be like, I don't know, like Collector, Infinity Edge, or some crazy stuff. Might be the Storm Surge that we've seen grow in priority.
Yeah, interesting tech, though. I didn't actually notice that.
I think even Starbucks takes them down. That's all right. HLE looking for their first Drake of the game. Canyon is in position, just going to Umberly dash over.
No way.
Down here as well. Oh my goodness, they just walk in. It is going to be secured by Kanavi as the 3-man taunt from Chovy is huge. The curtains have been called, and the bullet time is gigantic. Canyon will find the passive proc onto Guma, and the heroic entrance comes down. A triple knockup comes in again, but they are just barely not able to get these kills. Guma will finally go down, but it is a disaster for Gen.G, and HLE will take 4 off the map.
Yeah, I think we'll see a little bit more coordination between the Tempered Fate and the rest of the team in later team fights. So speaking of Duro.
Yeah, Tempered Fate going to come on through there to try and hold Guru in position. There's a Cosmic Binding as well as Canyon will get into melee range, and he's an Aatrox. He really likes that. That is going to be the Misfortune taking a rest. And Delight is also just taking too much damage. Ruler finds another bullet after reloading most of the fight, and will be able to take down the lady with horse pants.
Yep. Traveling pants back into the fountain.
Yeah, a little bit of a shame. As Chovy just gets cataclysmed. There is an orb. That's a shockwave. And Chovy, I think it's going to take some killing, but he's going to go down. And Zeka locks that one up.
That's big. I mean, Zeka is pretty huge in this game. He has 3 kills.
Yeah.
He is going for the torch build, which in this composition does make a lot of sense to me.
And let's see whether that is what Gen.G were talking about. As Delight, not really too worried about what Canyon's doing here, as Duro does need to be a little careful. As Rift Herald going to be the next fight as well, by the looks of things.
Ruler in a good position here.
Dplus comes out. We'll find a lot of damage. The Dancing Grenade does come on forward, so Delight's engage a little bit muted now as Duro just moving up, wandering towards them as Keen is also on a decent angle. That is the steal from Cannon. He finds it this time, and Delight also takes a nap. Heroic entrance to join Keen here, who just hops on top of Gumayusi to take him out. Kanavi finds himself surrounded by bad guys, and Ruler just walks away from Zeus. And now Zeka is in trouble. The curtains have been called, and Zeus realizes he has to block it, and it doesn't even matter. Deadly Flourish now is the end of this Renekton. And as soon as I say it, Gen.G just decide, no, we still are going to win that team fight. That puts us in position to win the game.
Yeah, it's that 15-minute timer, man, where Hanwha Esports fall apart. And every time.
I really thought that we made it to like 15 minutes and 34 seconds, Wolf. It was fine.
Look at this setup here. Like, so many holes Hanwha's does that it can be so exploited as Keen turned Gumyushi into Goomba Yushi and jumped on his head, got 100 points.
That was a really good line, Wolf. Oh, man, I really love that. As Keen is going to be in the Cataclysm, but he has Hop, so he's going to be okay from that. Meganar is not going to come in time. As now Canyon, 1 versus 3, doesn't really like this whole situation here as he does try to umbrally dash away. There's the pullback. He does have so much healing, though, as Kanavi, oh no, it's another round of Qs. He misses the spear, and Canyon somehow 50%. They now look for another round of buttons, and they will be able to take him out. This Aatrox is very scary, but still, that is 2 for nothing in favor of HLE.
Yeah, that was Delight marking Canyon and being like, don't you dare. Canyon could have been happy to walk away there, but he instead enjoyed the pursuit.
Yeah, I think he was having a bit of fun, and probably is a lot more used to playing like Skarner every game, and is probably really psyched to now be playing something that does damage. Does need to be a little bit careful though, as that Storm Surge we were talking about is now completed alongside a Rapid Fire Cannon, so Ruler is pretty scary. Tempered Fate does nothing, but Delight is still very dead. Duro is going to be the one that Meep slaps him down here for the HLE composition. They can make it happen. The problem is...
they're losing vision and losing control to set it up, though.
And you need that in order to make things work. Otherwise, Bard just makes you look foolish, like Duro just kind of has throughout this game.
We've talked about several times already.
Yep.
Dragon here for Hanwha Life would be a risky fight to take.
Well, Keen is just going to walk towards Delight here. He's got that Meganar starting off. And HLE realize that they do not want to be diving in on top of that. Zeus does, though. Does manage to safely move himself over. There is some flanking going on here. A scary moment as Chovy waiting to press that R button. Will be able to do so at a moment's notice. Keen gets over the wall and won't have Meganar. So that is a little scary. There is the steal. It's Ruler that takes it away somehow. Heroic entrance to come on in. There's the gargoyle drop. And then he gets the taunt onto everyone. Gumyushi just trying to create the position. And he does manage to do so. Double up. Takes down both solo lanes. And now Duro has to flash to get himself out of the way. Canyon doing the same thing. And the Umbral Dash, I think, might be enough. As the spear is not, and Ruler, he's got one more bullet, but that will not be able to take that one down. So Gen.G get the Drake, but they lose 2.
Yeah, they lose 2, and it was, once again, okay, Ruler, he should be fine, but that turret will not.
In this game, you pointed it out already, 3-1 and 4. Does have his Cosmic Drive now put together as Chovy having to deal with a whole lot of people.
5 people.
That's 5. Okay, that's too many. And so that is another kill going over to Zeka. 4-1 and 4 now on the Orianna.
I don't think they can do Baron. Like, if this was a kill into our comp does Baron right now, I would feel really good about this for Hanwha Esports. Instead, it's to kill, but it's at the exchange of a turret on the other side of the map that they get for free. Free farming for Ruler in the mid lane as well. Still a good, positive thing, but not, I think, as big as they would have hoped.
Kanavi just watches his red buff die as Delight is going to discover Canyon. He may not be able to escape this one. It's down to 50%. Duro is going to make his way over as Gumyushi with another bullet time. Canyon's not in the Tempered Fate, and so he's going to be taken out. Cosmic Binding's good, though, and Ruler is able to get himself to safety. The Bard not so lucky, as Keen might need to try and get over towards his Baron, but he can't. He has no teleport, and so this should go to HLE.
Okay, so this time the pick leads to Baron. This time it's actually huge.
All right, 9 minutes on the clock, Wolf. HLE, so they need to win this in 9 minutes time.
I wasn't going to mention it until now, where the game state feels like they have a lead, like a firm lead.
All right, run it. Break down the mid lane. All right, we are calling it on this team fight.
Now, I mean, this game has been so close in terms of kills, right? And it's been very back and forth, but Gen.G are the ones who have the majorative structure lead, right? Like, they're the ones who have...
If HLE still going to lose this series, but do so with like 3-2 fashion or something like that, or able to win one in under 34 minutes.
Zeka.
Things could be good, as Zeka is going to get snared by the Deadly Flourish. This is the problem with Gen.G, though, is when they're behind, their composition just doesn't do a whole lot.
From here on out, the coordination's going to have to be good, but it's pretty easy to play this comp. When you have vision advantage, you just press R together. As they've shown, when Gen.G walks into an Orianna Shockwave, they press R together. Oh,
Keen does have his Gnar ultimate up and available. Can use it for another few seconds, but isn't quite able to line anything up. So inner turret going to be falling down.
Well, they got 6 to 7 minutes left here to close this one out.
Oh, don't say those two numbers together, okay, Wolf?
Well, yeah, that's what the
children
like.
There are children in the chat.
That's what the children like.
Be careful. All right. Dragon secured, so it's 2 apiece here between these two squads.
They probably need to kill someone on Gen.G at the same time to get the game time where they
I mean, if they win a team fight right now, ace Gen.G,
then
and get Baron, they can win the game.
100%.
All right, Canyon possibly in a bit of trouble. Magnetstorm fires absolutely nothing unless you count the air, though, as Chovy also finds himself in an awkward spot. The curtains have been called here for Ruler. He does find Gumayusi with one of the shots as Zeka takes so much damage from that last bullet. Zeus is in the front line, but there is no follow-up. Shockwave's still there, bullet time's still there. There's still a lot of damage on the table here for HLE, but they are scattering, and they are not pressing their buttons. Deadly Flourish gets flashed out of Gumayusi, and now he'll press the button. He finds Duro to lock him down, and Ruler is going to be taken out. Zeka is so close to dead, but it's still going to be a gargoyle on the floor, and Gen.G are missing out on the rest of the fight. It's still going to be Canyon now, looking for an angle onto Zeus. He'll take him out with the help of Keen, who hits Mega, finds the Gnar, and takes out the jungler, as now Gumayusi's in melee range against Canyon.
It's
and
not
he makes
possible,
the raid,
Atlas.
but
it's not possible.
Gonna get out? No, it's not.
It's not possible for them to end the game in time now.
Oh, dear.
Well, no, sorry, it's 34-43.
Yeah,
not 34-30.
They've still got like another minute.
Yeah.
All right, HLE, let's try and get in there. It's okay. That is Zeus just taking way too much damage. Keen trying to get that Navar in order as Gumayusi's going to get put into the Tempered Fate. Magnetstorm to try and buy some time, and they dive on top of the Misfortune, and she's wiped out before she can press any buttons. Gen.G, I think they may have just done it again. The flash forward, Q1, 2, and 3. Is it going to come on in? That is the meat slap to slow him down. He's got another round of Qs, and Zeka is limping out of the way. Finally, Canyon locks it up. And it was looking like we were timing this game to see whether HLE could win quickly enough, but they may not win at all.
Yeah, they may lose before the time gets hit.
Wait, yeah,
34-43. So I don't think
Gen.G, you don't have to worry about it, but it would be very funny if you won the game at exactly that time, as there it is, ticking over right now. So even if HLE defend, they're going to have to win another game in this series, and I have a feeling that this game is over, and match point is collected here for Gen.G. Everyone on HLE sweating just that little bit more profusely as they are staring down the barrel of elimination.
Man, that one fight was so important. And even
you saw how HLE were going to win, and then they just couldn't.
Yeah, and HLE, like, this was the cheese draft. This was the, I have all the circles, I have all the combo. I do think Hanwha Esports got the better draft here, to be honest. Now, they don't have a super strong front line, but Trundle can kind of become one to a certain extent for a brief period of time. And also the Alistair, of course, does exist.
I mean, there's also a Trundle. That's the problem. There's a pulverized flash here out of Delight. Gets Duro into a good position, and Hook connects onto Zeka, but he is still here. That's going to be a kill delivered over to Gumayusi. First blood goes to the Sivir, and that is HLE once again off to a great start.
Yeah, it's that HLE early game.
It does mean that if anyone ever walks into their jungle, they are just probably about to die. That's all right. Keen is going to be running away from Zeus here, which is going to be a theme throughout this game. Well, Equalizer goes down. Keen is dealing with all of these things that are coming on through, but the Ram is going to come down. There's the knock-up as well, as Keen should be able to help take this kill down, but the Scrap Shield is going to buy a little bit of time. Finally, Zeus does fall as Kanavi comes in and eats the on. Subjugate, pretty powerful when used against a tank, and even in this early stage of the game, that is going to work out very, very nicely. So a 1-for-1.
You know, tells you what this
the
Ornn is going to do.
Placement was so good. As Ruler is dead, ladies and gentlemen. He is going to flash for some reason. Does have to grab it in the air. Does try. Oh my!
Fresh!
Yeah, does get the ward down. Moonlight Vigil comes on in, and Kanavi is just dead. Zeka finally makes his way forward, and the Aphelios will be taken down. But a 1-for-1 is not what I was expecting there. And Canyon now will just move on forward to take the remaining grubs.
He
Finally,
found out
they will be going down.
There. He's like, that's extra money. I guess it's worth now. Ruler again?
Yeah, Ruler I think is just dead. He doesn't have any summoner spells. Kanavi makes his way down. The Lantern is almost blocked, but it doesn't quite work, as now Delight, Unbreakable Will comes on through. and Keen will throw out the round to take down the cow. That is going to do it. It's a fight in the farmhouse as the hook is going to be picked up here onto Kanavi, but he's able to walk it off. He'll just be fine, but that is just a really good counter gang.
Is this a...
And so things get a bit easier in the isolated 1v1. Does mean that obviously Kanavi is going to still press subjugate and feel really, really happy. Problematically though, Canyon is now 2-0. And so this Pantheon is just so incredibly large. Chovy's teleported in, looking for an angle here as Zeus is on a ward. Gets poisoned there, and there is the exhaust down onto Canyon. They do manage to get the play back onto Delight, and he's just dead before the fight's even really started. It's the secure on the Dragon for Canyon as well as Keen comes in. Equalizer placement is gorgeous though. Zeus is going to pay for it with his life as the Twin Fangs, they do come in, and Duro's going to be taken down. Zeka looks for the kill, but Canyon, he gets himself out. Chovy has enough health bar, and he's able to just kite this one forward. The poison is not going to connect, but this is just ridiculous. Why is Duro the only one dead? He was trying to hit the Rune Prison onto Chovy, but they were like sharing too many picks. Sorry, he was trying to hit it on Canyon, but they were sharing pixels, or maybe he thought that he could like use the Flux Overflow to kill Canyon by default anyway.
Maybe he thought if we kill Chovy, we can actually maybe like group and take out the turret. I think maybe that was the reason why he decided to target Chovy there.
And Chovy was maybe more of the threat. Maybe it's just like the I'm going to get more out of this play sort of response.
Exactly, because Canyon
takes a turret. As it's also a Chemtech Soul. I thought it was going to be an Infernal, but here's a train. There's the knock-up. Hook is going to connect, and they'll just chain CC Kanavi. He does get so much of his health bar back though. Moonlight Vigil, not quite enough, and there's the bottom lane biting the dust. They put too much into the Trundle, and he just lives. The King's tribute was paid, and Gumayushi for some reason died. And Kanavi does his shenanigans with the Rift Herald. That should spell the end of this outer turret in the mid lane.
Yeah,
2 for 1 in the end.
There. He took a ton of turret damage, but actually you didn't see how Ruler got the kill on him there.
Canyon may kill Zeus, and yes, he does.
All right, well, that was a pretty tricky move. Just ult on top of the Rumble. He's hanging out over there, and he's dead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it. This is a very high-stakes series.
Yeah, it's a really
an interesting conversation, for
we
sure.
We can go back to it. We're filming the POG state later, so maybe we can go into it there.
This is a Dragon setup here for Gen.G that's very difficult to crack. Hanwha have no vision.
Yep. Ruler has so much range as well as Delight goes in once again, but his health bar is just missing. Gets the Pulverize onto Chovy, though. That's the turn that they're looking for, but the cow is just going to go down. The Seraph Shield, massive here as Chovy's looking relatively safe, and Ruler is just terrifying. HLE now 4 versus 5, and Zeka is in the front line, not where he wants to be. As the hook is going to go wide, Boomerang Blade also not finding the mark, as Ruler finding himself in a very good position. That moonshot, my god. The damage out of this Aphelios is just obscene with Storm Surge and Infinity Edge, and Gen.G Obsidian Cleaver.
Yes.
Is I believe what the name was.
Guma has the highest damage in the game. See if that can continue as Duro.
Yeah, that is going to be Zeka getting flayed back. Does have the Ghost though, so he should be able to catch back up again. Good Bellows breath there from Keen, but he just searingly charges out of the way of the Lantern. He requires no Lantern.
I don't think they can turn this into a Baron.
Especially after he gets subjugated. As Chovy, he will decide to take the turret down.
He's like, Chovy, please take the turret.
Yeah, Kanavi's like, come on, man, no, come back.
Like, send the minions to us, okay? I don't want that turret alive any longer.
Yep. Gen.G may just get the soul, and then they can probably ult Canyon in if they do want to try and contest for this.
I don't know about this one, Hanwha. Very risky.
Yeah, they get the information here as Canyon's going to press that button. The train going to leave the station as well. As in goes the Pantheon. It's going to be a 50-50 as he can take the Lantern as well. He's into the pit, and there's the steal for Canyon. The hook goes wide yet again, but the cow is mincemeat. And Canyon's still alive for such a long time. Chovy stopping the retreat here as he's just slithering out the back of the pit, but that is still a couple of kills. Petrifying Gaze catches Guma. He does use the spell shield pretty well, but Zeka's so close to dead. And Ruler says good night to the rest of HLE and probably sends them home from the LCK Cup.
It looks like HLE is not going to play in Atlas. That was the back-breaking moment, and it starts off again. Can you win any fight in this game?
Keen needs to make an ornament for Chovy and for Ruler, like right now. They're missing 2,000 gold because he just hasn't pressed the button.
Yeah, it's
right.
Kind of
He's
crazy.
level 16.
Yeah, he also like gave it to Pantheon.
Yeah, because he was like right there.
They came off of at that time, of course, the win, the LCK Summer. Things have changed here.
Well, now the train is going to come on through. Maybe this is the last call. There's the hook back. And the Trundle is just dead before he can do anything at all. Canyon takes the Lantern Ride to get himself to safety. These ricochets are cutting them to pieces.
And it's just such a tragedy. Every time Keen presses R, like somebody dies. Canyon's very low here, but he has GA, so he doesn't really care.
Yeah, it looks like Gen.G still want to try and find an angle.
I mean, Elder spawns in 20 seconds. Maybe the flip angle and the one team fight from that could get Hanwha the win in time. It could happen.
Yeah, Grand Starfall is actually not available as Canyon did manage to stop the back. The play is so good, though, to deny. Petrifying Gaze doesn't do the most work, but Keen gets to Gumushi into the backline, but he does flash his way out. The problem is, though, his range is too low. It's a triple kill for Ruler, and Gumushi cannot do anything by himself in this bottom lane with an angry Conductor looking to take him down. Breathe some fire. Look at that skin. Isn't it just fantastic? As Keen will be able to demonstrate it one more time in the POM view that we will get later on today.
I don't know. It's crazy. Keen got his first career Penta, and yet my vote finger still kind of gets drawn to the support vote again here.
Oh, and we have the dangerous double support English desk as well at the space. Oh dear, Ruler almost dies to that turret, but it's looking like that 3-0 that everyone was dreading. And HLE, this was their final game at the LCK Cup. Gen.G will send them home early and save the lives of the pros. Even with Gumushi doing double that of almost everybody else's damage on the Rift, it's not enough if you can't get the kills.
Not effective damage, yeah. You can't get the kills, it doesn't matter.